GOP strategist John Weaver concluded the country has been hit by Cyber 9/11 and Russia committed a Pearl Harbor cyber attack.
Russia committed a Pearl Harbor cyber attack on USA designed to put their favorite person in the White House. We did nothing. Read that out loud. Anything short of the American people learning every detail of this cyber 9/11 attack on our country is a victory for Putin. John Weaver at GWGOP.
You know what? You know what, guys? At some point, man, we got to stop comparing everything with something else. You know what I mean? We got to stop doing that. Stop comparing everything with something else. You know what was Pearl Harbor? Pearl Harbor was Pearl Harbor. You know who Hitler was? Hitler was Hitler. Yeah. Yeah. You know what slavery was?
No day ever dawns for the slave, a freed black man wrote, nor is it looked for. For the slave it is all night forever. One white Mississippian was more blunt. I'd rather be dead, he said, than be a nigger on one of these big plantations.
Chattel slavery in the United States. Nothing else is the same as the other thing. To do that minimizes the anguish and pain of the original thing. You cannot do that when you are a news agency. You can't, or a pundit, or a commentator, doing what I do. You cannot do that, all right? That is, it's just unethical, stupid, wrong, misguiding, disinformation. Sort of like the video I did on Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington said, if you don't watch the news, you're uninformed, and if you do watch the news, you're misinformed. Well, you're misinforming people when you make these crazy correlations that don't matter. Joy Behar of The View. Woo! Joy Behar of The View. I tell you, man, I love the internet. I love doing what I do, man. I really do. But the fact that someone like Joy Behar, who knows nothing about any topic she ever talks about, does anyone on that show read stuff? Like, ever? You know what I'm saying? Like, do they like, look, see, these are papers. These are papers. I read them already. I read them. I am aware of what's being talked about. But it seems like the women of The View, and I'm sure there's an equivalent dumb guy show, right? But I'm talking about The View right now. This is not sexist. The people on The View are idiots. It's plain and simple, man. They're just idiots. They're talking about don't get your news from Facebook. How about don't get your news from The View? How about that? How about we don't get our news from The View or The Choice or The Wrap or The Real or Keep It Real or any talk show that comes on during the day, or Ellen DeGeneres or anything or you know, or The Today or Good Morning, any daytime show that is just there to just feed you BS. Joy Behar of The View called on Trump to step down over his disagreement with the CIA assessment. Hey, Joy, so you're saying the FBI needs to step down too, right? Like the entire Federal Bureau of Investigation needs to step down too, because they also disagree. They disagree too, Joy, but you know that if you Googled. Simple. Oh, look at the results. It's not just Trump, it's other people too. So Joy Behar, guys, here's what she says. She wants Trump to step down over his disagreement with the CIA assessment over Russia involvement. Trump called the finding ridiculous in an interview with the Fox News Sunday. He has to step down before the inauguration, before they give him the nuclear codes. We're at risk when the president is fighting with the CIA, she said to applause from the audience. See? They all clapped. Obama earlier today was giving a speech where He talked about being at war every day his entire presidency. He said, I'm the only president who's been at war his entire 2 terms. And you know what people did when he said it? They clapped. They clapped like it was, that's my guy. My POTUS. My POTUS. That's what that is. That's my POTUS. Always at war. Man, you go here with your killing self. Drone, man, go ahead, man. You a bad mother droner. Go ahead, player. Let a player drone. Stupid. Just stupid. Behar asked, do we have to wait until the hammer and the sickle is in the American flag before we stand up to this guy? She said hammer. See, here we go. Hammer and sickle. The hammer and sickle. Okay. Jeez. You would have thought he called white kids super predators or something. You would have thought he was married to the president of the United States and went around the country talking about locking up poor black people, poor black kids, locking them up instead of giving them summer jobs and stuff. You would have thought that that he helped champion with his wife, who was the president, bills that sent jobs overseas or something. You would have thought that he had, I don't know, traded influence for money during his time as Secretary of State. You would have thought he was courting emails saying I have a private and a public faith. You would have thought that there were scandals like Whitewater and impeachment of his wife. You would have thought all those things had happened the way they talk about this guy. Keith Olbermann. We are at war with Russia, or perhaps more correctly, we have lost war with Russia without battle. Hold on. Man, do people, you know what? It is hilarious. Keith Olbermann. Seriously, man. I'd unscrew your leg and beat you over the head with it. How about beat you about the head with it? That's that English way. Beat you about the head. I like that. Beat you about the head. Keith Olbermann is a hack. He's a hack. He was way better. He was way better playing, telling football stories, analogies. He needs to go back to sports. But see, here's the thing about Keith Olbermann. Once upon a time, he was good.
Because a senator, a politician, a person who can let hang in midair the prospect that she might just be sticking around in part just in case the other guy gets shot has no business being and no capacity to be the president of the United States.
But see, they canned him. They canned him for telling the truth about Hillary Clinton during Obama's first run. And when he's like, hey, look, man, if y'all take me back, y'all let me come back, man, into the mainstream, I'll shut up. I'll say whatever you want me to say. I'll say whatever you want me to say. I'll do whatever you want me to do, mammy. He's doing it. And doing it well. Keith Olbermann offered this summary of the state of the nation. We're at war with Russia, or perhaps more correctly, we have lost war with Russia without battle. We are no longer a sovereign nation. We are no longer a democracy. Gosh, that sounds like us talking about the primaries. Where were you, Keith? Where were you during the primaries, Keith? Where were you, homie? Why you have my back, man? Why weren't you there during the primaries talking about how the elections were all screwed up and rigged in? Where were you? What happened, man? Why weren't you talking about we were losing our democracy when thousands upon thousands and thousands of people were knocked off voting rolls? Where were you when they closed down polling places? Where were you where communities of Latino Americans were unable to vote? They pulled every polling place out of their community. They had to go miles to vote. Where were you when people were standing in line for 5-6 hours to vote? Where were you when they reduced the amount of polling places from, 140 to like 30? Where were you, Keith Olbermann? Where were you? Where were you? It wasn't a loss of a democracy then, though, was it? Oh, no, nothing. In fact, it was all in our heads. We just thought it up, Bernie supporters. We just thought it up. We just had a problem. We'd watched too much Alex Jones. Remember that, guys? Remember when we were saying, hey, this isn't right? How all these people who've been voting Democrat for 30 years all of a sudden have no affiliation? How'd that happen to all these people in New York? How all these people getting off the voting rolls? How'd that happen again in California? How'd it happen? What happened? They said, oh, shut up. You're making excuses. You are a sore loser. No, why y'all take my grandma off the voting roll? She's never voted any other way. She's one of the zombies that always votes Democrat. Why is she taken off? And those people don't realize that now they want us to listen to them. We're no longer a sovereign nation. We're no longer a democracy. We are no longer a free people. We are the victim of a bloodless coup. So far, a bloodless coup. So far, a bloodless coup. You hear this guy? So far, a bloodless coup. This guy. Somebody need to smack him with like 5 or 6 rolled up real tight newspapers. Just pow! Pow! To smack him upside the head, man.